All right, shalom, 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 family. Once again, you're not under the sounds of the voice of Kahan Tazadak, and this is Right Knowledge for Vel. Got some breaking news here. A lot of serious things has been going on while I've been trying to do these webinar, but gotta kind of still keep you posted. I'm gonna give people the opportunity to go ahead and get into the room, so we'll give it a few minutes. I'll let some music go ahead and play out so people could actually come on into the room. And then we'll get started. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. There's a man that's actually been caught at an inauguration checkpoint with over 509 rounds of ammo and a loaded clip with 16 rounds in the clip. And he also had a fake identification, alleged to be one of the security members. So we're going to go into that. And more. We also going to go into Assembly Bill 416. And my question to you, Assembly Bill 416, for those of you that's in New York, you're in dire straits right now. While you're being distracted by other things, they've been pushing Assembly Bill 416. Assembly Bill 416 literally could actually have you taken to a concentration camp, either as an individual or as a group of people, if you are a carrier or if you have COVID-19. That's right. Do some research on Assembly Bill 416. Is this, or are these things that's going on in the media, a distraction to deter you away from Assembly Bill 416? Because I'm not hearing a lot about Assembly Bill 416. This is why I think it's a necessity for me to put this out so people could really see what's going on here, man. Once again, that's Assembly Bill 416. So we're gonna go ahead and let some music play, give more people the opportunity to go in the room, and then we're gonna go into some details on this, and we're gonna give you the opportunity to come in the room and give your perspective, man. Please participate. Please participate. This is the real news for Vel. Tells a doc so you know who said it. Right knowledge for Vel. Making credible moves over here.
Conform to your mindset. I'm not going to conform to your mindset of what you want me to be or what they want me to be. I'm going to do what my father orders me to do. God.
Plant in the soil, grounded in my roots. Hands is up or not, cops they will shoot. Trapped in this matrix, and we must reboot. Strap up my boots and speak the truth. Judgment in Hebrew is my Shabbakian. Kinda like when Pops saw them two cops popped and dropped them. On your mind, first option, the doctrine. Going to the portal, slow mo. I know they watching. Red and blue, flashing lights. But the red and blue made a sacrifice. Killing their brothers every day, every night. The traps and stacks attacking for packs and packs, they ain't acting right. Could it be the curse of Deuteronomy? Spirit that dwells inside of your spiritual psychology. Statements has taught us how to read. Forget they did philosophy. God made it chosen people unto himself. Yes, we gotta be. Over dire states, either meets their fate. Words that I speak make Trump too patient. Cannot ride the waves in a burning lake. So as for you, Jake, better keep them slates. The commandments.
Because I'm not here to say what you want. I'm here to tell you the truth. And the truth will make you mad. If you accept it, make you free. The way God told God.
Yeah, please forgive me for the crack I sold. I was just a victim of mind control. Jewels and closed potholes upon this road. As I fight to remain and retain my soul. Every day a battle, I hustled in fight or flight mode. Didn't even know who I was, feeling like John Doe. I chased though, out on the corner like I was Marlowe. Now I'm on the corner with my Bible in my cargo. It's called repentance. Yeah, I know, not dancing with you, devil. I left you know my spot, Londo. My lyrics for your spirit, so hear it and play it pronto. No Twitter, but we follow these scriptures like we apostles. Down in the valley with all these dry bones. As we give life to all these lost souls. Here to liberate all our people from being docile. Though we really showing you love, they claim we hostile. Won't compromise. We down to ride. Put my life on the line like my clothes out to dry. Lift up that voice and give it God no cry. And I'll die for my people like your heart was shy. I try.
That you've been distracted. The race wars, they're going to happen. It's just too much hate.
You already see them happening. You see them.
The people that conform to themselves.
People storming the Capitol, screaming the M word. You see what's going on.
It's a social, political.
If you don't see, Taza Doc's gonna make you see. I'm gonna shove the truth in your face.
I believe in my heat. I believe in my Bible, and I believe in my gun. And when I pop war, I pray that the Most High bless me to shoot straight.
Hey, you better arm up because it's getting crazy out here. I'm no provocateur of anything, just the truth, man. And once again, this is Kahan Taza Doc, and this is your house work. And this is right now, it's for real. Ain't nothing fake over here. Ain't nothing about me made up. So, shalom, shalom, shalom once again. I'm still going to be having a webinar today. So those of you that have not registered for the webinar, go ahead and do so. It will be one of the wisest decisions that you ever made in your life. Today, we're actually going to go into how to be a private banker. And this is right knowledge for real. This is your house work. So click the link below the video right now, or you could click the link in the room and go ahead and register. Now, let's talk about some things, man, that's going on. Because I want to really give you the real news over here, man. The real news. Now, a Virginia man was arrested at an inauguration checkpoint. He says he was lost, and he didn't mean to bring the gun and ammunition to D.C. Now, the Washington, D.C. Capitol Police arrested a Virginia man. It was late Friday. Right? He was out at the club, desecrating the Most High Shabbat, and so on and so forth. This man, he allegedly attempted to pass through a police checkpoint. And check this out. He had forged inaugural credentials. Now, this is what, come on, Joe Moore, let's get something straight here. I want to talk to the people for a second. Why are these people being referred to as domestic violence instead of, domestic terrorists? Is that white privilege? I really need to comprehend this. I don't understand why the media is saying domestic violence instead of domestic terrorists. And you have people such as Israelites and other groups that's deemed as domestic terrorists. I just want to point that out and show you clearly that racism is very present on the hierarchy in the United States corporation. But moving right along, right? So this guy, and he was eventually released. You understand? Now, he had a forged inaugural credentials. He had a loaded gun with 16 rounds in the clips and 509 rounds of ammunition, right? The man's name was Wesley Allen Beeler. Wesley Allen Beeler of Fort Royal, Virginia. He told the police that he had a loaded Glock in his center console of his pickup F-150, the American way, right? The American truck, Ford F-150. Well, he had it in his center console as he tried to pass through a downtown checkpoint. Now, after officers detained him, they recovered 509 rounds of ammunition from his vehicle. Beeler was arrested on charges of possessing an unregistered firearm and unregistered ammunition. The Capitol has beefed up security in wake of what occurred in January the 6th. And as you come in the room, go ahead and give a thumbs up, man. I know people are not awake right now, or some of you going to church. I'm going to take you to church. Put your church clothes on. You better get your minds right, man. That's what you should be doing. You're sleeping in. And this is where you miss it. This is where you miss it. So this man had 509 rounds, Joe Moore. 509 rounds. And, you know, the Capitol, this man knew that the Capitol had beefed up security because of President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. So this Virginia man, he passed through a police checkpoint in a lockdown zone of downtown Washington, D.C. This happened on Friday. He had an unauthorized inaugural credentials. Why wasn't he charged with that? He had unauthorized inaugural credentials. Why wasn't he charged with that? An unregistered handgun, as they say, and over 500 rounds of ammunition, 509 to be exact, according to them, according to the court documents. It's public information. You can see the court documents, Gregory Nelson's. Shortly after 6:30 p.m., Wesley Allen Beeler, 31, he stopped at a checkpoint just north of the Capitol building, according to the police affidavit. It's been made public. They made it public yesterday. I went and read it, and so now I'm doing this. It was made public yesterday, and he presented the credential that was not authorized to enter the restricted area. What's going on with that, Stephen Mitchell? Why wasn't he brought up on charges for the fake credentials? Is that, again, white privilege? I mean, it's a question, not a rhetorical one. I'd like them to answer to that. Why are these people referring to as people that's doing domestic violence instead of domestic terrorism? Is that white privilege? I don't know. Can you overcome white fragility and come in the room and let's talk about it? Once I open it up, it's just a question. It's just a question. This is not racism. This is actually compelling people to peer into the mirror of reality. Hey, peace and love, Day. Beeler was released from custody Saturday. What? They let him go. He's in the area. He has a forged inaugural identification. He has 509 rounds. They let him go. He was released Saturday. He was released from custody Saturday after a brief court appearance in Washington, D.C. Superior Court. Now, law enforcement officials said that the investigators do not consider him a threat to public safety. Do not consider him a threat to public safety. Is that white privilege? I don't know. I'm going to give you guys the opportunity to come in the room and give your perspective. I want you to think. I want you to close your eyes for a second, and I want you to put a melanated man in that predicament. He's driving around. He probably wouldn't have been in an F-150. More than likely, he would have been in a car with chrome rims on it. And he has a 9mm with an extended clip, 16 rounds in the clip. And he have 509 extra rounds in his conveyance. And he gets pulled over. Would it been the same results, Lionel Brown? Would it been the same results, Stephen Mitchell? Would it been the same results, Patrick Porter? Or would they turned it up? See, we gotta show the world what the United States really consists of. Is this white privilege? Or does white fragility not want us to discuss this? Will the channel be flagged for simply speaking truth and asking questions? It's yet to be determined. So, he was released. See, when the police asked Beeler if he was carrying any weapons, Beeler told them he had a Glock semi-automatic pistol in the center armrest. according to the court documents. Go and read the court documents for yourself. I can't make this up. Shalom, Zebulon. What's going on, King? Police later recovered the pistol as well as 509 rounds from Beeler's F-150, Zebulon. 509 rounds of ammo, shotgun shells, and a magazine for the handgun, according to the incident report provided by Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. Beeler was arrested for possession of an unregistered firearm and possession of unregistered ammunition. What about the forged ID that he had? Among other offenses, the report stated. The credentials that Beeler had that he presented was fake. Why was he not arrested for fraud on that? I need to know. Isaac Fry? Is that white privilege? I need to know, man. Inquiry minds want to know, Zadok. Why was he not arrested for that, Zadok? For the fake credentials. Citing the law enforcement, the affidavit released Saturday described the credentials as unauthorized. So why wasn't he charged on that? There was a Capitol police spokeswoman, Eva, not evil, but Eva Malachi said Beeler had presented a non-governmental issue credential. Now that's interesting. That's interesting, man. Are we seeing white privilege here, Zadok? Or is, hey, man, is it just a discrepancy in my mind? I don't, someone help me out here.
Definitely white privilege.
In an interview, Beeler's mother, this guy, Beeler's mother, Charlotte Beeler, said that her son worked in an armed security and had been on a job in the capital area for the past few days. He was ordered to stay out of DC except for in-person court appearance. So the only thing they say, hey, they tapped him on the wrist, Zara. They say, hey, get out of here. Just stay out of DC except for your court appearance. I got to raise the question, John Brown, Gregory Nelson, Ronald Brown, Isaac Fry. Would it have been the same? I'm not trying to play a race card. I'm trying to put a mirror up and show the United States people how things really are and not how people pretend that they are. Would it have been the same if he was a melanated man? It's the question. We beg the question. Beeler appeared via video conference in the hearing wearing a dark jacket and had a face mask on. He only spoke briefly, once telling the judge, yes, ma'am, when asked if he understood the conditions of his release. Well, sounds like to me, he said, yeah, I stand under the charges. Sounds like he should have been listening to some right knowledge revealed. Now, he's scheduled to return to court in June. That's a hell of a break, isn't it, Zara? That's a hell of a... Yeah, man, put this in context. You roll up in the capital area at a checkpoint. You got 509 rounds in your damn car. You got a 9mm, and you got 16 in a clip. And you got shotgun shells. And you don't go back to court until June? Damn, man. Wow. Interesting, huh? Go ahead and give a thumbs up as you come up in the room, man. Beeler appeared via, I got a little clip I want to play, man. I got a little clip I want to play with this guy, Beeler, when they interviewed him. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. There go Beeler. Is that oh, them teachers.
Blew up into the domestic terrorist thing. Like, just because things are happening out there doesn't mean that's what I'm trying to do. I forgot my firearm was in the truck. I was trying to make it to work. You can literally go to the National Mall and ask any security that are wearing all black that says MVP Protective Services. I'll put the name out there because they're not helping me right now. But you can go ask them. Ask them to show the placard that they were given because that's what was given to me. And now all I was trying to do was show him what I had and ask how I get around the blockades because I got lost. Everything's blocked off, and I'm just trying to make money for my family. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I don't even want to be in front of the Capitol. I was just trying to make it to the National Mall.
So you were heading to work?
Blew up into this whole domestic terrorist thing. Like, just because things are happening out there doesn't mean that's what I'm trying to do. I forgot my firearm was in the truck. I was trying to make it to work. You can literally go to the National Mall and ask any security that are wearing all black that says MVP Protective Services. I'll put the name out there because they're not helping me right now. But you can go ask them. Ask them to show the placard that they were given because that's what was given to me. And now all I was trying to do.
Okay, now he said the plaque that they were giving. According to sources, they're saying that the credentials that he has that it was fake. They're saying that they was fake. That he had fake inaugural credentials. They were forged, in other words. Yet he was not brought up on charges for that, according to the report. It didn't mention that. It mentioned for having an unregistered firearm. Oh, don't do that, Johnny. No, Johnny, don't do that. And unregistered, but what rounds? Don't do that, Johnny. Come on, Johnny, you can't do that. You can't do that in the public view. Get out of here, Johnny. We'll bring you back in June.
That's a privilege. That's a privilege of a white nationalist. There you go.
Now, and he represents what they call the so-called good old American, Wesley Beeler, 31, a Fort Royal drove. He drove his Ford F-150. That's the American truck, isn't it? Is that it? The F-150 or the Silverado. He drove that Ford F-150 up to a checkpoint on E Street, northeast of the Capitol, where he met the Capitol police officers, according to the court documents. You can pull the court documents online. I can't make this up. The area is one of many under complete lockdown because of what happened back on January the 6th, the breach of the Capitol. And they're preparing for the inauguration on January the 20th. Beeler again was arrested on charges for carrying a pistol without a license and possessing an unregistered firearm and possessing unregistered ammunition. Why wasn't he arrested for the forged identification? Why was he not charged with fraud? I don't know. Maybe they're going to bring him up. Maybe they're just not putting that in report. But something is very wrong here, Amos Israel. Something's very wrong. He said it was an honest mistake when they interviewed him. He said it was an honest mistake. Being released in a tear-filled interview. He's crying. That interview right there, I showed he wasn't crying. But there was another, and I've been looking for that. I can't find it. There was a tear-filled interview. Was that an honest mistake? He said he has spent the past week working as hired security in downtown Washington ahead of the inauguration. Why didn't his organization speak out for him? He said they're not supporting me right now. He said he forgot that his firearm was in the truck when he left home. How in the hell you can forget 500 rounds of ammunition, though, Zara? 509 rounds of ammo. He said he forgot it was in the truck when he left home. Right? He's doing security. He must have not have been doing armed security because you would have needed your weapon. Interesting, man. He said he realized it was there halfway through the trip, but he was running late, so he didn't turn around. Things that make you go, He denied that he had more than 500 rounds of ammunition that was listed in the report. He's saying that that's trumped up. Was he? Did he or did he not have it? He said, I pulled up to a checkpoint after getting lost in D.C. because I'm a country boy. He said, I showed them the inauguration badge, which was trumped up, by the way, Zadok. That was forged. You understand? That was given to me. It was forged. A person with knowledge of Beeler's action who spoke on the conditions of this said Beeler had no extremist ties. Okay. They said he cooperated fully with law enforcement and was cleared from further investigation, except for the charges of violating the district law by carrying a pistol without a license. Beeler said he was given the credentials by his employer. Now, if this is true, why haven't the employer been brought up on charges? If he was given fake credentials, which is a fraud. MVP Protective Services was his employer. Now, man, when they contacted him, a man who answered the phone number that was actually connected with the MVP said that unfortunately at this time, I'm not authorized to speak. When reached by a so-called reporter that reached out to try to validate Beeler's story, the man said, I'm not authorized to speak at this time. Shalom, Clean. Shalom. So in a statement Saturday, the police said he presented a non-governmental issue credential. As his credential was being checked, another officer noted a bumper sticker on the truck that read, "Assault Life." Assault Life. And if they come for your guns, give them your bullets first. That's interesting, isn't that, Zara? But then let him go. That's pretty transparent to me, man. A bumper sticker that says "Assault Life" on your F-150. If they come from your gun, give them your bullets first. Interesting concept, is it not? But hey, let him go until June, man. This is the justice system, man. Now, after removing Beeler from the truck, officers found that the firearm, which was, by the way, a 9mm handgun, was loaded with a high-capacity magazine and 17 rounds of ammunition, and that the pistol was chambered and ready to fire. Isn't that damn ironic, man? He had one in the chamber, Zedek. One in the chamber. Ready to fire. This is what the documents stated. And the police found 509 rounds of ammunition for that pistol, including what they call cop killer. Hollow points. Hollow points, right? Hollow point bullets. Nearly 24 shotgun shells were located in plain sight in the rear cargo area of the vehicle. This is what this, and you guys, if you guys think I'm making this up, go and read the court document on Beeler. Go and read the court document. Go and read the court document on it. It was released Saturday. It's public information. You know how not to look this stuff up. It's public information. He said it was just me forgetting to take it out of the truck before I left for work. I don't know what the DC laws are. It still comes back on me, but I'm not a criminal. This is what Beeler said. He said he volunteered for a job in DC after a friend let him know of an overnight job with MVP to guard the media equipment located at 7th Street and Constitution Avenue Northwest. That's exactly where I was last week. I was staying right there. He said that the credential was actually previously given to him. He was able to enter the area with that before, but now he's saying that they said it was unauthorized. Interesting, man. Interesting. Now, on another note, all of you that think I'm trumping this up, go and read the court report on Wesley Allen Beeler. Wesley Allen Beeler. But there's something else. Now, is this a distraction, Israel? I'm gonna tell you, Israel, man, you better get the hell out of NYC, man, New York. Don't you know? Are any of you familiar with Public Bill 416? Assembly Bill 416. Look it up. 2021 to 2022 legislation session. Is it a distraction for Assembly Bill 416? To those that are unaware, Assembly Bill 416 just gave Cuomo the power to throw you into a concentration camp. Now, I know you don't believe it. I'm going to pull the bill up and we're going to go over it. We're going to look at it. I'm going to let you look at it for yourself, because this type of stuff should be out in the media, but it isn't. They're not putting this out in the media. Why? So you don't want to learn what's really going on? I'm going to shove it down your throats. Let's have a look at Assembly Bill. Joe Moore, is this a distraction? Is this why all of these other things are going on as a distraction? Meanwhile, while all this stuff is going on, they're keeping your attention on what's going on at the Capitals. They writing damn Assembly Bill 416 in the background, and you dumbass New Yorkers don't know a damn thing about it. You live in think that's the same thing that they done when they passed the warrantless searches in DC, Maryland, and Virginia. You didn't know anything about it. Not one single thing about it. And you probably didn't hear about this. You got George Chang that live over there. I bet they ain't know nothing about this, man. And probably still don't, because they sleeping right now when they should be on this listening and find out what's going on, man. So let's have a look at Assembly Bill 416, Mikael. I can't make this stuff up, man. We'll pull it out. This basically authorizes, if you could understand the language of law, this is damn telling you that they could authorize you to be thrown in a damn FEMA camp. Sound like a trunk, because it says if you are a carrier of COVID, or if you have it, they can snatch you out of your home, individual or group, and throw you behind in a damn camp. You people in New York, man, you better learn your damn rights, man. Okay. Assembly Bill 416, 2120, 2022 legislative series relates to the removal of cases, contacts, and carriers of communicable diseases who are potentially dangerous to public health. Now, the word communicable diseases will probably confuse most folks in the hood. You don't understand that that's talking about COVID, because that's a communicable disease to those of you that don't get it, right? The current bill status, an assembly committee. Oh, it's been passed. It's been passed. It relates to the removal of cases, contacts, anyone that's come in contact with these people, and carriers of communicable diseases that are potentially dangerous to public health. To those of you that don't get it, that means COVID, folks. That means what's going on right now. Let's get some more of it. Assembly Bill 416. An assembly. It's an assembly. January 6th. Interesting. Now I want you to think. What happened on January the 6th? I'm gonna put the link in the room. Mikael, you come in here and talk this talk if you can. On January the 6th, what were you guys distracted with? I need you to think, man. On January the 6th is when the Capitol was under siege, under assault. Your attention was diverted to that. But what else was going on January the 6th? On January the 6th, while your attention was being distracted, right here, I can't make this up. Assembly Bill 416 was passed. Assembly Bill 416 was passed. Introduced by M.A. Perry. Read once and refer to the Committee of Health. An act to amend the public health law in relations to the removal of cases. They're calling you a case. This is for New Yorkers. To those that don't get it, this is the New York Senate, the New York State Senate. I can't make this up. I downloaded it, but I wanted to go to this website so you can see that I'm not making this up. This is public information. Just like Taza Doc has got it, if you're wise enough and smart enough, you will go and read it for yourselves. So while your attention, and by the way, anyone who want to come in the room and speak, the link is in the room. The link is in the room, right? Come on in and talk that talk, man. If you could speak up, or you might be taken out. This might be your last opportunity to speak if you're a New Yorker, because this is actually already in effect. Chromo is like God to you right now. This gives Chrono the ability to pretty much throw you in a can. So, an act to amend the public health law in relations to the removal of cases, contacts, and carriers of communicable diseases who are potentially dangerous to public health. The people of the state of New York, represented in the Senate and Assembly, do intact as follows. Listen well, New Yorkers. This occurred on January the 16th, Salakia, the 6th, when the nation's attention was being diverted to what was going on in the nation's capital. They wrote this into what they referred to as law, Assembly Bill 416. Section 1. The public health law is amended by adding a new section, 2120, to read as follows. A removal and detention of cases. To those of you that don't get what that means, you don't understand law, let me help you out. That means you're the case. The word case, replace the word case with you, a person. Replace the word case with you, a person. So the case is you, the person. You're a case, and the detention is a detention center. Is a detention center. No, that's just New York right now. But you know it's coming down the loop. So, a removal of detention of cases, contacts, that means people that come in contact with people that have it, and carriers, and people who are carrier who are or may be a danger to public health. So they're saying, when they're using the term communicable disease, that's a way to disguise them to not allow you to know that they're saying COVID-19, which is actually a communicable disease. Get it? So the provisions of this section shall be utilized in the event that the governor. So this gives governor promo to put your ass in a damn detention center. That's what that section is saying, man. To those of you that don't comprehend law. Now you still don't think it's imperative to study with Tazada? The provisions of this section shall be utilized in the event that the governor declares a state of health emergency due to an epidemic, like what's going on now, of any communicable disease. Is not COVID-19 a communicable disease? Of course it is. Of course it is, Gregory Todd. Of course it is, David Parker. Of course it is, John Brown, Gregory Nelson, Joe Moore. You people are about to wake up. Where's Israel? Israel, you better get the hell out of that city, man. Upon determination by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case, that means a person that has it, contact, or a person that came in contact with someone that had it, or a carrier, or a person that may be a carrier of the COVID 19, or suspected cases. Wait. They don't even have to verify that you have it or suspected cases, contact, or carrier of a contagious disease that, in the opinion of the governor, so it's whatever promo say. It's whatever Cuomo says. At the consultation with the commissioner may pose an imminent and significant threat to the public health, resulting in severe mobility and high mortality. The governor or his or her delegate, including but not limited to the commissioner or the heads of local and health departments, may order the removal and or detention. Did I not tell you this was a detention center? This is clear. But you people are not interested in stuff like this. Only tells the dockets. Any of them may order the removal and or detention of such a person or a group of persons. So this is not just on an individual level. Such a person or a group of persons will be detained. Do you understand? New York is a Democratic city, a Democratic state. The public health can do this to you. Cuomo could do this to you. The removal and or detention of such a person or a group of persons by issuing a single order identifying such persons either by name or by reasonable specific description of the individual or group being detained. Such person or group of persons shall be detained in a medical facility or other approved private facilities or premises designated by the governor. That's a detention center, man, or his or her delegate, and complying with subdivision 5 of this section. Is there anyone that do not comprehend what I just read? I try to make it as plain as possible. A person or group removed or detained by order of the governor or his or her delegate pursuant to subdivision 2 of this section shall be, explanation matter in italics, detained for such a period in such a manner as the department may direct in accordance with this section. Notwithstanding any inconsistent provisions of this section, a confirmed case or a carrier who is detained pursuant to the subdivision of this section shall not continue to be detained after the department determines that such person is no longer contagious. How could such person may no longer be contagious? They give you a vaccine. They vaccinate you. Do you understand what you're listening to here? A suspected case or suspected carrier who is detained pursuant to the subdivision 2 of this section shall be continued to be detained after the department determines with the exercise of due diligence that such person is not infected with or has not been exposed to such a disease, or if infected or exposed to such a disease no longer is or will become contagious. C, a person detained pursuant to subdivision 2 of this section as a contact of a confirmed case or a carrier shall not continue to be detained after the department determines that the person is not infected with the disease or that such contact no longer presents a potential danger to the health of others. This is serious, folks. This is serious. Stand by. Let it take place. Stand by and let it take place. And people still have nothing to say. I put the link in the room a couple times, and folks have absolutely nothing to say. After the department determines with such exercise of due diligence that the suspected case was not infected with such a disease or was not contagious at the time the contact was exposed to such individuals, or after the department determines that the contact no longer presents a potential danger to the health of others, a person who is the same person to subdivision of this section shall, as is appropriate to the circumstances, have his or her medical conditions and needs assessed and addressed on a regular basis. Damn, that means you got to keep going back and be detained in a manner that is consistent with recognized isolation and infection control principles in order to minimize the likelihood of transmission of infections to such persons to others. Is this democracy? When a person or group is ordered to be detained pursuant to subdivisions 2 of this section for a period not exceeding 3 business days, such persons or members of such group shall, upon request, be afforded the opportunity to be heard. Damn. Request permission to speak, Sergeant. If a person or group detained pursuant to subdivision 2 of this section needs to be detained beyond 3 business days, they shall be provided with an additional commissioner's order pursuant to subdivision 2 and 8 of this section. 7. When a person or group is ordered to be detained pursuant to subdivision 2 of the section for a period exceeding 3 business days, or his or her delegee shall make an application for a court order authorizing such detention within 3 business days after such request by the end of the first business day following such Saturday, Sunday, or legal holiday, which application shall include a request for expedient hearing. After such request for release, detention shall not continue for more than 5 business days in the absence of a court order authorizing detention. Notwithstanding the foregoing provisions, in no event shall any person be detained for more than 60 days. They can hold you for 2 months. Hello. They can hold you for 2 months, Gregory Nelson. Hello. Hello. Nobody still have anything to say, man. They're asleep. I hope you're understanding what's being read here. They could detain you for up to 2 months, family. A, 416, the removal of detention of a person, group, issue, person to this subdivision, or for review of the continued detention of a person or group, the governor or his or her delegee shall prove the particularized circumstances constituting the necessity for such detention by clear and convincing evidence. I'm sure they could easily come up with that. So, I don't need to read anymore. Anyone, matter of fact, I'll put this in the room for you. To those of you that want to share this and pass it along, I don't need to read any more than that. You already hear what it is. You see what it is. These are detention centers. These are detention centers starting in the great state of New York. Where do we go from here, family? Anyone that have anything to say, I'm going to give you the opportunity now to come on in the room and speak out. It should be all kind of New Yorkers speaking out right now, but you scared. 2 months. 2 months. Is this democracy? And what do? You keep your mouth closed. You're following the orders of Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam. Don't say anything. Don't speak out about what happened on the Capitol. Somebody better say something. Come on in the room, Gregory Nelson. Why are these people afraid, man? Clean, man. It's not looking good over there, Clean. This is New York. This is New York State. Clean. Assembly Bill 416, man. If you doubt me, man, click the link, man. I pulled that from the Senate website. I can't make this up, Clean. They turning it up, baby.
The lockdown's here, man. It's here. Now they coming to your doorstep, man. What you gonna do, Jake?
They could come right in and snatch you out. People probably not getting the seriousness of this. What I just read, man, in that Assembly Bill 416, the governor could order them to go in and snatch you out of your crib. You could just be a suspect of it, any communicable disease.
What you gonna do, Jake? What Jake ain't gonna do nothing, man. They gonna comply, man. You know how Jake get when they scared.
Yeah, what you gonna do now? What you got to say, Isaac Fry? I remember I had to help you with this kind of thing a couple years back, Isaac Fry, when you was working in the medical industry. You should be coming on here, man, giving testimonies. Because you knew I helped you with this, man, because I did, man. I remember you, Isaac Fry. I had to draft up an affidavit for you because you was making it, you was working in it. See, people like you, man, you doing injustice to others because you know that I gave you a remedy when you was working in a medical facility and they told you that the vaccinations was mandatory, and I showed you that it wasn't. And you know it worked because it did. Because you know I do this for real, man. I understand this stuff for real, man. And people like you should be giving wide open testimonies, not in the damn background, man, on the chat board. That's what I'm talking about, man. You see that? That's what I'm talking about, man. And he's been on this call since the inception of its beginning, man. I'm gonna tell you, man, y'all better get the hell out of NYC, man. They turning it up, but I suppose it's gonna come to other places, man.
Oh yeah, New York. This happened in New York first because New York is like the centerpiece of everything, man. So they feel like they can do it in New York, they can do it anywhere else, man. That's how I see it.
Yeah, man. They turning it up, Queen. Ain't nobody got nothing. AR9K. Come on in the room, man. Hey, Isaac Fry, you didn't give no testimony, man. You ain't get no testimony on that, man. I be having to put people on blast, man. I'm gonna start helping people, man. Cause they don't come until they're in dire strength situations, man. They on their knees. They on their knees, man. Like they are right now, man. The whole state of New York has actually been just knocked to it. And you know when this was passed and clean? January the 6th. When the distraction was going on in the Capitol. That's when this bill was passed. What do you mean, Rhino? Is that people still in New York? What is he talking about, man? Anyone that want to come into the room, yeah, Yahweh is king. You come in here, you talk about Babylon is falling. Come in the room and speak on it, man. Why you guys hiding out in the background, man? You click on the link, AR9K. Click on the link from a Chrome browser. Come on in the room, man. Speak up, man. Speak up. Be a man, man. Voice of the people. Gregory Nelson, come on in the room. You said I'm a blessing. Come in the room and show your appreciation, Gregory Nelson. AR9, click on the link from a Chrome browser, or if you're on a MacBook from a Safari browser, you could come in. Yahweh is king, or YHWH is king. Come on in the room. Don't hide behind a chat board. Speak out. Be a man. Tired of cowards, man. Now, all of our real soldiers are locked up anyways, man. This is hurting my brain, these weak men out here, man. Always hiding behind something, man. Gregory Nelson, come on in the room. Let's talk about how fully vested you are. What's going on, Joe Moore? What you think about all of this, Joe? What you think about all of this, Joe? How do you come in from a phone? Clean, aren't you on a phone? What does he need to press?
I'm on the phone, man.
Right, he pretend he don't know how to get in from a phone. Do you press some certain buttons or something, Clint?
You just press the button, the StreamYard button, and you press the portal you want to go through, either Chrome or like Safari if you got
Right.
an iPhone.
So that's how you get in why HW8 is king. You click on the StreamYard link, and then you determine which portal you're going to use, which browser. Use Chrome. Use Chrome and come on in. It's really that simple. Joe Moore, you fell out. What you got, Damian Gomez?
What's going on, everybody? Shalom. Respect to everybody.
Hey, what's going on, King?
Well, I want to say that I used to live in New York. I'm from New York, but I don't live there anymore. Everybody knows in New York, nobody cares. It's the Walking Dead. You can't even own a gun. You can't do nothing over there. You move to Jersey, it's
So
almost the
talk that
same
talk,
thing.
Damian. Talk that talk, man.
You come to PA, you could in PA with a regular license, which I understand you got to sign a contract, but with a license, you go in, you get a gun every day of the week, no problem. You come out with 500 rounds, which a lot of people were saying it's not a lot of rounds. You could go to the shooting range, you could waste that in one day. But New York, you just dead in the water. You ain't doing nothing over there. Something happens over there, it's gonna be a bottleneck of bodies everywhere. Because everybody's gonna be running to those bridges, and those bridges is gonna be closed by the military, and you dead, and you ain't got no gun. Well, I mean, I'm sure people got guns over there, but not enough.
We got guns, but it ain't legal, like you said, man. It ain't legal.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. New York is crazy. That's why I left. I mean, when I was there, I didn't leave the radius of a few, maybe like 10, 20 blocks.
That's why I left, man. That's why I left.
It's jail. It's jail out here, man.
There's a whole world out there.
Jail.
A lot of New Yorkers say, I love New York, I'll never leave, because they never left.
I never get that, Damian. I would never live there again, y'all. Never. Ever.
Dude, nah. There's too much. There's too much out here. Even outside of the United States. There's a whole world out here. That's why, I get upset when a lot of people say God bless America. It's like God bless the whole world, man. It's like we all together. We all in this together. Everybody, you know what I mean? It's God bless the whole world.
Yeah. But what you think about this, man? The Senate Bill 416, where the governor could just, order someone to come in your house, snatch you out, and put you in a detention center. It's set up right there in the report.
You might as well declare war on everybody, because if you think about it, they're already doing that, tracking with your phone, everybody you come in contact. So if you came in contact with somebody by accident that had the virus, you done off. You could just get put in, Randall's Island. I don't know if you ever been to, but Governor's Island it's beautiful. That's a military island right there in New York. Not everybody know what that island's about.
Mm-hmm.
They got beautiful houses over there. They got jails over there. They put the military there, when they got to do things in New York. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna use that for that, or they could do Randall's Island. But if you think about it, you're not even aware you getting traced. I mean, Cuomo could just put the whole island, or Brooklyn locked down, Manhattan locked down, Queens locked. It don't even matter. You might as well say,
they raised the bridge out. They stuck.
And then not only are they stuck, they're gonna be hurting each other, because it's gonna be I'm gonna eat, you not gonna eat, or it's fit. It's like the crab, like what is that? The crabs in the barrel, or whatever. It's dangerous over there. New York is dangerous to live there. People on Twitter, people on Instagram trying to live that Hollywood life. They sleeping. They walking around sleeping.
Come on.
That's what I have to say.
I'm gonna hit you something, man. There's a lot of people that I know that's in NY that don't even vote. They struggling, man. They struggling hard, man.
Mm-hmm.
They living in rooms and all of that. They can't even afford an apartment, man. I know a lot of cats like that, man. They living in a room.
How much apartment costs out here, man? 1 bedroom out here, $1,500, man, a month, man. 1 bedroom, man. You can go to PA
and they work in security,
pay $1,500 and get a house.
And they work in security, Clint.
$1,500, man.
They work in security, man. They work in security, and they paying child support for 3 children. That's why they can't even get an apartment, man. And they keeping it like that. They keeping it gully like that. Now you got this to think about, man.
Man,
Yeah. I mean, my man told you the last time, man. We own you, man. Now they put it right here in writing so you can see it. He told you when that what was that measles broke out in the Jewish community,
Yeah.
and Bellagio came out, yo, man, we own you, man.
And them Jews went crazy. They went crazy out there. They stopped all that.
So I mean, what do you think about this dude, Clean? That he had a you know, the guy from Virginia that drove to a inauguration checkpoint. He had a 9mm. He had 17 rounds in the clip and one in the chamber ready to pop off. And he had 509 rounds inside of his vehicle. And he claimed, you know, he made a wrong turn, said he was going to work. They released him the next day, man. They released him the next day. He don't even go to court until June. And the only thing he's been charged with is unregistered weapon and unregistered ammo. Yet he had a forged. He had a forged identification. He had a forged inaugural identification. Let me show you, man. This dude right here.
Is he
man.
pale or is he melanin?
Yeah,
man?
man.
Is he
Edomite, man. He's an Edomite. This is what I'm asking folks: is this white
that's
privilege?
your answer right there.
Is this white privilege, man? People gonna have to stop denying this, man.
Salakia, shalom, family. I was gonna speak this YouTube because I was trying to hang with the chat, but certain couple people in the chat.
Your mic is very staticky, Mikael.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there you go, right there.
Shalom. There's a couple people in the chat having issues trying to get in StreamYard. Gregory Nelson. How you get in StreamYard, you check your browser, you look in the browser settings, then you go to site settings, you'll see microphone, you'll see allow, you know, for the options it's to ask you first or whatnot. Just go through that, make sure everything is enabled, and then you can get on. StreamYard is not complicated to get on. You just click the link, do that.
That's him right there, Clean. And one of the cops that pulled him over, he had a bumper sticker on his car that says assault life. He said, when they come for your guns, give them your bullets first. That's what his bumper sticker said.
But that's exactly what he did. He said, I got a gun in the thing and here's the bullets. Might as well did that.
No, they found the bullets later, brother. They found the bullets later when they searched that conveyance. They found 509 rounds in there and some shotgun shells. But that both I know and you know that was that aphorism on that bumper sticker is not really meant. That's not what it's meant. Giving your bullets meaning to let off. You understand what I'm saying? When they come to take your guns, essentially that's a metaphor. Give them your bullets first. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. I was just speaking on how the community, everybody want to do everything for TV and they want to put bumper stickers, but they're not about the life. So then why even put the bumper sticker? You just going, yeah, the gun's here, and all right, they found the bullets, but he might as well have been like, yeah, I got 500 bullets in the back too. We got caught.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, why you riding around with one in the chamber, man? Someone threatening you or something? You understand what I'm saying? You got one in the chamber. And he had a Glock. You know, a Glock don't have no safety on it, huh?
I mean, he got it the right way. I mean, you're supposed to have one in the chamber, and what was the point of having a gun? You know, if you really need to use it, unless you're really good at it and you practice and you train, that's the way it's supposed to be. That's how I was told. I don't know. I don't really see nothing wrong with having one.
If you know weapons, Glock don't have no safety.
All Glocks is good to Wesley. They don't have safety.
Yeah, you could drop that. That weapon will go off, huh?
I don't have a Glock. I never had a Glock. I want a Glock.
Glock has no safety.
Yeah, it has no
safety. You literally shoot, you have, you know what I'm saying, pointing the tank on that.
Right.
You literally shoot.
You ready to shoot. You ready to fire. There's no safety. You don't, there's no safety to take off of a Glock, man. If you got one in the chamber, the only thing you got to do is squeeze. You just squeeze, man. You pick it up and let off. Ain't no safety or nothing, man. You understand what I'm saying? That means he don't already cock that back. You understand that, brother? He don't already cock that back. He put one in the chamber. All he got to do is squeeze the trigger, man. And he letting off. But I see, I just want to know, man, if this was a melanated man, would he be out right now? He got one in the chamber. Well, I mean, we seen what happens, man. What's that brother's name? Castillo or whatever? He just told him he had a weapon in there. They lit him up. That's real, man.
It has to get bad before people realize what they're dealing with. They can say it all day, but until it gets to the front doorstep, that's when it counts. And that's unfortunately the way people have been mollycoddled into believing this civilized society is for them, because they've been trusting in oppression for too many years, too many decades. Get docile, don't know how to hunt, don't know how to be out there. I'm not saying I'm in any better situation, but at least the Most High blessed me with a sharp mind to be able to figure things out very quickly and be good very quickly. But nonetheless, it's like, a lot of people out there just sitting ducks. They might even have weapons, but they're not even trained up on those weapons. They don't realize those weapons are only as good as they are.
Yeah, he was trained, man.
Yeah, so that's
he got trained
outlier.
in Virginia. He said he was trained on it.
Yeah, that's an outlier. But the majority of people that are the victims of anything fallout that comes from these parties pushing these agendas, these demonic crazy demon rats, and their sense of this nonsense.
Nelson, go out and come back in. Your device is not connected. Gregory Nelson, go out and come back in. Your device is not connected. AR9K, there's a link. Go ahead, Mr. L.
Yeah, man, pardon, but this is where we're at with it, and it's coming down to the wire. If the president is getting heat and they're trying to shove him around, bully him around, can you imagine? I mean, they have barbed wire in the state capitol, man. I mean, they're fencing off and all that stuff, treating it like it's already a concentration camp or something like that, some kind of third world country, some war stalemate third world country.
Let me just say this real quick. I don't mean to cut you off, man, but you know who's doing this though, right? The army. These are regular guys, man. Like these are people that fill out applications, go to booty camp and all that, and do all these things got to do out there, and become a servant of this country, man. And these are regular people, man. These not no extraordinary people, man. I just feel like it's a job, and they just doing their job, man. And like that's why Most High got to come back and destroy this place, man. Because it's just like people just listening to whoever they want to listen to, and then making people that's regular people like us do what they say or else you don't get shot in the face, you get shot in the ass, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. That's why we gotta have the angels come down here, because we gotta show them what real power look like, man. They think they got power over people, and you a regular person, like me and you. That's why I never got into that law enforcement stuff. Like, so I'm like what makes me better than you? Because I got a gun and I got these people behind me, this army behind me. Come on, man. I respect that, man.
They're really trained that way, and it's in them. In the boot camp, to be honest, the citizens, and I mean the U.S. citizens, should have been cracking down on the way they train these police in these boot camps, because that's where it really happens. That's where the mindset, the indoctrination, and the psychological operations they run on these people to get them into that type of mindset, to where they bring that to the street, to the doorstep of the taxpayers. And it's their negligence is why they were slipping and sleeping.
And you know what too? I know that's true because like I said, I messed with a girl, right? And she put herself in the army. She went to the army for 6 months to the camp and all the boot camp. She came back, her mind frame totally changed, man. The girl was a total different person, man. I couldn't even deal with her no more, man. Like
Huh.
it just changes your whole aspect on life and how you look at things. She thinks she's better than me because she got the army, she shooting guns, all that. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's BS to me, man, because it's not reality, man. If people was really to come together and go against the army, man, chance, man. They want to stand a chance, man. There's too many. That's you know what I'm saying? It's not as much as the army people, man. But you know, people that, man. They coming down on you. They coming down from you order. That's why I don't
Yeah, you're breaking up. You're breaking up, Clean. Thumbs up as you come into the room, man. Thumbs up as you come into the room so more people could tune in. Thumbs up.
People need to get it that they need to start paying attention to how they run China. How is China being run? They need to actually do some research and hear the horror stories of what goes on in China, because whatever they're getting away with, that's the source of funding for a lot of this nonsense that we have over here in the United States. And this is a fact. If they're the ones back in the CCP and you see the way they run that country and the slavery they permit over there and the abuse of their people and the killing of their people, organ harvesting and all of that, and then they get to trample on all your rights that made you a different country from them in the Western civilization that they bought, then you're in trouble. I mean, the people here in this country are in trouble because
I'm losing some of these other people. Gregory Ty, what you got? Someone else just fell out. The guy that just fell out of the room, come on back in. Is someone new to the channel? I would like to hear their perspective. Gregory Ty, then Isaac Fry. Go out and speak.
All right. Basically, I live in New York right now, and I've been hearing about that bill that you was talking about since the 6th. I saw it from another platform, and I was outraged at what was going on from it. And I've been talking to my family about what's going on, but they don't really understand. And I try to explain it to them plenty of times. And I'm just trying to find solutions as to what I can do since no one is willing to listen to me.
Hey, Gregory, do you understand that by order of the government or the health department, if they, from what I read in that bill, it says that you could be suspected to be a carrier or come in contact with someone with a communicable disease like COVID 19, and they could put you in a detention center.
Yeah,
in a detention center.
Yeah, and based on since I've been doing the research based on this whole pandemic, I feel like they can use this as they can use any excuse to put you in a detention center. It's not even just that at this point. So,
in the army, it also takes away your existence of like what God is, man. Like it makes you not believe in a higher power, man. It makes you believe the only power is the government, man.
If anything, I've only I've been turning to God. Basically, that was the only solution that I could really see ever since this pandemic really started, because I've been doing research on what's been going on for about 5 to 10 years now, and it seemed like the only way is obviously the agenda is obvious what they're trying to do, but I'm not sure why.
But Gregory, why do you think people are so damn afraid? Like right now, this course should be flooded. You got people, I mean, grown ass men. There's probably about 98% of men on this core right now, and they won't come in and speak out. Well, what do you think that is, man? How are you going to get to a solution with men like that? How are you going to get to a solution with people like that, man? And they be the first ones that want freedom. If you exercise to have that freedom, they will be some of the first ones that want it after the freedom is ascertained.
I honestly think that the only way people will ascertain freedom is they have to claim it for themselves. People have to learn that no one is really coming to save them. And I guess it has to get just as bad for them to finally realize it to understand what's really going on. And we're here at this point. There's no waiting for someone to come. They have to be willing to understand and to question. And that's the thing that gets me the most. Why don't people decide to question what's going on? People don't question anything anymore. And that's what gets me, I guess, the angriest the most, because the evidence is obvious. They put it out there for you. No one even decides to question it.
Except this channel, and then the powers that be, the so-called powers that be, suppress it and don't want to give it the amount of views that it really should have.
But if that's the case, then they should be willing to question it. It shouldn't matter about the views. The fact that they're suppressing it should automatically be a red flag right there as to why they're doing it in the first place.
That's that. I go by that same logic, but you know, you're dealing with a bunch of irrational people, and then they have to rush and get rational when the shit hits the fan. It comes down to the wire. Old habits die hard, man.
Yeah, that's definitely true. That's definitely true. I've been telling people all the time that, you know, the only reason why they have power is because we consent to them to having power over us. They really don't have any power over us unless we consent to giving it to them. All these people have to claim it for themselves. Do they really want to live under these people's thumb, or are they going to go grab it for themselves? And that means if they have to, and sometimes I be telling people all the time, with everything going on, they may lose everything, but maybe the only way for them to learn is to lose everything.
Right.
I'm just doing the best that I can from where I am right now, telling people what's going on and trying to figure out what to do. So I've been looking into this channel and even looking into getting into law, because I feel like that's the only solution to protect ourselves from what's going on, because there's nowhere to run at this point. It's going to be everywhere.
Just got to become a secured party creditor. You know, there was a webinar that was actually scheduled, and it's been announced about a couple weeks or a week or so ago. And it would have been highly beneficial for you to join us, on this webinar.
I just now stumbled upon it yesterday, and I watched one of his previous videos, and I'm planning on getting into that today since I seen it when this live stream first popped out. Plan on getting into it today.
Well, I don't know. Khan Tazadak would have to answer that, because the process usually is the first day. That's when you donate, and clearly it sounds like you realize you're investing in yourself by doing so. Some people don't get that, I should say a number of people choose to hate themselves and say, I'll hold on to this fiat script money that's actually decreasing in value, and then I'll be a slave and be concerned about it later when I realize I missed the boat. But I don't know. Maybe Kahan could work something out. I'm not sure. I can't speak for Kahan, but typically it's a 2-day webinar, and this one actually was very important.
Salaki is still going to be the same price no matter how we're here at 10. I don't care.
Khan, he has to accept that, but I'm saying as long as he has an opportunity to enter, is at your discretion.
Yeah,
so it sounds like you still have a chance.
Yeah, he could attend. I'll drop the link in the room again now, man. I dropped it earlier. I'll drop it there.
Damn,
I mean, because we're gonna go over a lot of information today, man.
Khan, that's everybody. Everybody, get on this. Join us in this webinar. You need to. You can still learn quite a bit, even though you missed the first day. You know, there's so much information that's really going to change your life.
They're going to run way more than what they're paying for. Way more.
Well, that's all I know. That's all I really want to say, on this live stream.
There's the link right there in the room, brother. I just posted a link in the room.
Hop on it now. Everybody get on it now, because the webinar is going to be at 12 Eastern Standard Time. That's for everybody wherever you are. So just get
So,
that, keep that in mind. Yeah.
I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for coming on, man, and having to go now to speak out.
no problem,
Isaac
man.
Scott,
Thank
what
you.
you got, brother?
Can you hear me? Can y'all hear me?
No, we can't hear you, but go ahead.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I just want to thank you for the help that you did give me. You kind of fired me up, when you called me out like that, but it's all good. Really did appreciate you.
That's what I
Thank
have
you.
to
And
do, man. When
yeah,
I put in work for people and they don't show any appreciation, you know what you did? You thanked me in the background. You never came on and gave a live testimony. And so
yeah,
I feel that's robbing me and giving me an injury, man. Because I invested my time into that. And
I mean,
people that I let me finish. People that I help and they don't show no damn appreciation or real appreciation, I feel like they spit in my face because you don't realize that your testimony will actually encourage more people to take a step forward and join us in this revolt against oppression.
well, I
Case in
appreciate
point,
you.
look what just happened in
I,
New York.
yeah, I
Same kind
really
of
do.
thing, man.
Yeah, I do appreciate you. I don't want you to feel like I spit in your face or nothing like that. Because I still use those affidavits to this day. I still use them. I still work in the healthcare facilities, and you don't have to take those shots if you don't want those shots. I don't take them. But I see a lot of people line up to take them. And matter of fact, I want to speak on the pandemic, like the pandemic that's going on right now. I've been telling people, hey, yo, don't go into those hospital facilities. You catch a cold, you get sick. You do the normal things that grandmama taught you how to do. You take your herbs, you take your vitamins, and you stay out of those hospitals because in the small town that I'm from, it's called
Hey,
Danville, Kentucky.
Salaka, let me just say something. This is not medical advice. I'm not providing any kind of medical advice. He's not providing any kind of medical advice. This is not legal advice. When he was telling people not to go to hospitals, he was not making a medical decision. He was just a bit suggesting if it was me, I wouldn't attend those facilities. Go ahead.
Right. So like my hometown is called Danville, Kentucky. Since the pandemic has started, I've seen the fear in the people's eyes, and I go to the people, my people, and I tell them, yo, don't go into those medical facilities and deal with their practices. Sure enough, I've seen
Hey,
like
Salaki, I try to give you a clue, but I'm gonna have to come out and say it. You can't say that.
I
You
can't say
can't
that.
tell people not to go to medical facilities because they would try and charge you actually
I got you.
practicing medical advice, right?
All right, got you. So since the pandemic has hit, at least 15, 20 people from my hometown, they're all Black. People that I grew up with, my elders. I've watched them get buried and they died from COVID, from this pandemic. And it's a real thing. I'm not saying that it's not real, but I don't know what I can say now because I'm a free thinker, I'm a free speaker. I say what I say. So I don't even know what to say about it. But I've watched people die from it. At least 15 people that I grew up with, from my elders to the people my age. I'm 46 years old. And as far as what you were speaking on earlier, everything's just ramping up, for the FEMA camps. They getting ready. Only thing I can say is get around like-minded people, like yourself. Get out of the cities. Follow the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, because
Salakis,
not following law, statutes, commandments, you can be,
AR9. AR9, can you mute your mic?
I don't really have too much to say else.
AR9, can you mute your mic?
But I just want to thank you for the
AR9,
help that you did
AR9.
give me.
Can you mute your mic?
Appreciate you, brother. I still use that. You still use those affidavits. It works. And I know you said don't speak on it, but I tell anybody, for myself, all I do is follow the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High.
I hear you, brother.
I don't deal with doctors. I don't deal with the system too much. Get around like-minded people, follow the law, statutes, commandments, all the way to the end, because America is done. And I'm finished.
All right, appreciate your testimony, man. AR, what happened in AR9? He just fell out.
It looks so, but his mic was just on, and all that
Yeah,
wind.
it was a
That's
win.
all
All
I got to say, brother.
right, thank you, Isaac. AR9, come on back in. What you got, Raymond? Good brother.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom,
Yeah,
shalom.
just traveling, trying to get back. I'm headed back. So I'll probably get on, but it'll probably be late. I'm gonna get every little nugget that I can. So I'll probably be getting on soon as I touch down.
Oh no,
But
we're not going to be on here. We're going to be doing the webinar.
yeah, I know. I'm
Oh, all
still
right.
gonna get on, no matter how late. I'm still getting on.
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about this. The webinar is going to start and about 11:50. All right, I try and start 10 minutes early.
Yeah, I'll probably be a few hours late. I'm waiting for my connecting flight. So as soon as I get back to the home front, I'll be coming out.
Yeah. What do you think about what's going on, though, Raymond? The guy that
Well,
rolled up at the inauguration checkpoint with a 9mm, 17 rounds in the clip, one in the chamber, and 509 rounds in his Ford F-150.
right. Now, the thing about that is I'm just kind of curious or concerned as to what could have been on his mind, for the
Okay,
simple reason.
let me add. He had uh, uh, um, an inauguration identity that was not official.
Right. And yeah, like I said, my concern and my thought concerning that is, with things being the way that they are, the exposure, concerning the demonstrations and all, it just doesn't really add up to me why he would even attempt to do that, because it doesn't make sense from the standpoint that he had to know that he was going to be checked.
He said he forgot it was in his vehicle until he was halfway there.
Oh yeah, that sounds real good. That sounds really good. And you forgot that the fake ID was in there as well? It just makes you
He
want to go,
claimed that was given to him by his company that he worked for. They didn't respond to that.
Well, again, too, even with that, all these things, of course, he knew that it was going to be checked out and come back void. So at the same time, I'm kind of suspect of that whole thing. The legitimacy of it all, I would question it. That's just my thoughts, because of what I just said. There's so much going on now as far as the demonstrations and the marches is concerned. So they're going to be looking for every little iota, and even perhaps those that have even legal ID is going to be scrutinized to the nth degree. So that's just not, that doesn't sit well in my spirit, that someone would be that foolish to try something such as that and be so ignorant that his company gives him an ID and whatnot, and he don't really scrutinize it to the point where it would be legitimate. That does not add up in my mind. It does not.
Just trying to make money for my family. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I don't even want to be in front of the Capitol. Like, I was just trying to make it to the National Mall.
So you were heading to work?
Blew up into this whole domestic terrorist thing. Like, just because things are happening out there doesn't mean that's what I'm trying to do. I forgot my firearm was
This
in
is the
truck.
guy
I
right
was
here.
trying to make it to work. You can
Wesley
literally go to the
Allen
National Mall
Bureau.
and ask any of the security that are wearing all black. It says MVP Protective Services. I'll put the name out there because they're not helping me right now. But you can go ask them. Ask them to show the placard that they were given, because that's what was given to me. And now all I was trying to do was show him what I had and ask how I get around the blockades, because I got lost. Everything's blocked off, and I'm just trying to make money for my family. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I don't even want to be in front of the Capitol. I was just trying to make it to the National Mall.
So you were heading to work?
Blew up into this whole domestic
He
terrorist.
claimed he was heading to work,
Just because things are happening.
and he said his job is responsible for giving him an identification. It wasn't real.
Right. Well, now the thing about that is the person that issued that identification to him. You could ask yourself the question: was he being set up? It could very well be that he could have been set up. Now we remember, if we go back to that situation that happened in Vegas with that guy. You know, he comes as some kind of arms dealer and all this. Now, all of a sudden, he done killed 56 people and all such things. When a lot of evidence and whatnot began to come forward, it was totally contrary to the thing that they was putting out as to what was going on. And I personally have some videos concerning that Vegas event, to where it's no possible way that it could have been one person doing all that. There's no way. So now here we have this fella. He looked like a perfect example of somebody that could be set up, because just to my eyes, he looks the role. If you look at his
But here's the
appearance,
problem that I have, Raymond. The man had a fake inauguration ID.
right?
He said he's used that to get in before. Okay? And, you know, the man had a Glock 9mm. Glocks don't have safeties. In his console, 17 rounds in the clip, one in the chamber. You're at an inauguration checkpoint. And you knew that the presence, everyone by now, they know that there's presence of Capitol Police and National Guards out there. Why in the hell would you be riding there with one in the chamber, man?
Exactly.
You got one in the chamber.
Exactly.
A Glock doesn't have no safety. You could drop that and it goes off.
Exactly. That's my whole point. Something don't smell right with that whole thing.
But who sent him? It's obvious he's serving some kind of an agenda. If we could put that much together, I mean, within reason of what makes sense. Who sent him then? Because he's doing something. He was obviously, it appears he was ready to go on a mission.
Exactly.
But to do what and how? And also, he put his own so-called job at liability for saying that, or disclosing that they provide fake identification. That would be fraud. That's a fraudulent act. If you were to, someone wanted to pick that up and say, hey, we need to prosecute that because they're making fake identification and trying to pass it off in front of federal law enforcement or National Guardsmen and whatnot. I'm sure some kind of contrived case, they could trump up something and say, hey, this guy, Joint Terrorism Task Force or FBI, National Security, something like that.
Right. Now, that's another important point too, Mikhail, from the standpoint that now what you do is you take and you scrutinize the people that that supposedly issued that ID. Who are they? What is their business? He didn't really go into that, I don't think. Now, like I said, I just saw all of this just a few minutes ago in transferring between my 2 points. And I got on and I saw this. But my question is, who is this company? What is their business? What do they do? And he put it out there as to who they are. So now they should be scrutinized. And we being in the information age that we're in, a company itself, there's only so much secrets that they can hide because a company is in the public.
I would like to know if he was melanated, what they refer to as a black man, would it have been the same circumstances? Would he been released and not obliged to return to court until June?
Hell no.
And the only charges was unregistered weapon, unregistered ammo. This is what the American people has to face. This is the mirror of reality that the American people have to face. You're going to be compelled to face this because the Most High is exposing this, man.
Exactly. Yeah, how can you have that many weapons, that much ammo, unregistered? Because there supposedly be codes and statutes that different states have when you have unregistered weapons, and when they are loaded, that it carries a mandatory sentence with them. So what happened to those codes and statutes?
And aren't Glocks illegal in all states? That was my big question.
No, man, Glocks are not illegal.
What? Huh.
Glocks are not illegal. Where'd you get that from?
No, I thought, okay, maybe it was a mod on the Glock that made it from closer to automatic.
A Glock's not illegal. I got a Glock, man.
Okay. Well, it's still apparent that he had a fat slice of that privileged pie, because as you've been bringing out, if he was any browner, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't got past, can I see your ID? What are you doing around here?
Yeah. So was he was released then, I take it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he was released until June. He was released the very next day.
Yeah, it's smelling worse and worse as I hear. That has a certain smell to it, to the point where it kind of stinks.
The media seems to be downplaying it.
Exactly.
Even authorities say they don't see him as a threat. The authorities say they don't see him as a threat. He was not linked to any white supremacist group.
That's interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, when I get back, I'm going to do a little research on that. I'll pull that video up and scrutinize it and see what I can dig up. Because, yeah, I smell a dead fish on the line. And it might have a cat on there, too.
Showed police an unauthorized inauguration credential at a checkpoint along the perimeter securing downtown Washington, D.C. Ahead of Inauguration Day was arrested after a gun and hundreds of rounds of ammunition were found in his vehicle, police said. Wesley Allen Beeler, of Front Royal, pulled up to a security checkpoint at North Capitol Street and East Street Northwest about 6:30 p.m. Friday in a white Ford 150 truck with Virginia tags and gun-related decals, according to U.S. Capitol Police records. The truck Beeler was driving was decorated with firearm decals, including ones that said, "Assault Life," and, "If they come for your guns, give them your bullets first." Police say Beeler presented a credential that was unauthorized. Authorities didn't immediately provide further detail on what sort of documentation Beeler allegedly attempted to provide. When the credential didn't match up with a list of people authorized to enter the inauguration perimeter, U.S. Capitol Police officers conducted further searches. A gun with a high-capacity magazine inserted in ammunition were found in the vehicle, police said. The gun was not registered in Washington, D.C., police said. Police say they also found 599 rounds of hollow point and ball ammunition, and 21 12-gauge shotgun shells. Beeler was arrested and taken to U.S. Capitol Police Headquarters for processing. Beeler is charged with carrying a concealed weapon, possessing an unregistered firearm, unlawful possession of ammunition and possession of a large-capacity ammunition feeding device, according to D.C. police.
Interesting, folks.
Very interesting. And
And
I'm
it's
gonna
great.
say, yeah, I'm gonna say this. That name, his last name, that to me also stands out like a sore thumb. I don't know how anybody else assess this whole thing, but that last name, Beeler, there's a lot too that they do in terms of certain names and all. Does anybody remember the name of the fellow there that was in Vegas, what his last name was?
Nope.
Yeah.
When the
Yeah.
mainstream media drops it, we all tend to drop it. Force of habit.
Right. But that name within itself, Beeler, to me, you know, that raises my eyebrows with a name like that. Because that's something too that they've done over and over in the past with in terms of names.
So my question is, analytic. If you're concluded, if I can interject with this question while it's still hot, do you believe that it's agency, or do you believe it's government, or do you believe it's a private contractor or secret society? Which of those, or militia? I'll even throw that in there. Which do you think it is?
All right.
I mean,
well,
theory, just speculation, because you have a right to under your First Amendment to speak
right.
your opinion. These are unconfirmed. You know, we're just having a dialogue here, an exchange.
All right. Just like I said, just off the cuff with a name such as that, I would say agency.
I think it's a legend as well. You know, a legend of a fabricated profile of someone that fits a bill, and
Right.
that is a manufactured identity.
Right. Right. And to me, that's, in my mind, that spells agency. Yeah.
So you think they deployed an asset?
I'm tended to move in that direction as far as the way my thinking goes, because as I said, just assessing all the things that I have looked at in the past, this is the way that my mind metabolizes it. That it was agency, and because of what took place there, and then too, you look at it, what as Kahan said, how many people you know can be released with that type of ammo, unregistered guns, and all this, and to come back, what, 4 or 5 months later, 6 months later, something don't. Like I said, I smell a dead cat on the line. Just not adding up.
And we still can't forget, even though we refer to him as our copper complected melanated brother, we have to see what the plight of Grandmaster Jay is in all of this, because we know, comparing the two, they're both facing federal issues with what we presume would be the case, or the order of things. And what is going to happen with NFAC if anything pops off down in DC? Will any type of negative light fall on those masses of copper-complected, melanated men and women that amassed at capitals in the past?
Right. Now, another thing too, like I said, my mind is always trying to metabolize and try to pinpoint certain things, as far as certain events and whatnot, such as this that occur. To looking at it from another perspective, to the whole thing, as far as him being stopped, the whole 9 yards. It could have been a distraction, publicity stunt, or what have you, for what the ultimate goal really is. And like you said, with this thing with Grandmaster Jay and the situation that he's facing, what is the ultimate goal that they're trying to accomplish here? But again, like I said, that name stands out like a sore thumb to me. Beeler, come on now. Come on. I'm Willie Bobo as well.
You think that you think that was a penetration testing by some agency, a possibility? I mean,
Possibly.
that's giving them some kind of plausibility to give them breathing room, so to speak, for lack of
Yeah,
better words.
yeah, possibly. But at the same token, why expose that to the public if that was the gambit that they were trying to pull? Because again, as I said, the ultimate goal may have not revealed itself as of yet.
Which would be what, my brother?
That's a good question. That takes further thought. And as I said, when I get back, I'm going to try to look into some things myself and try to put some type of scenario together to try to get a great understanding, a clear picture of the direction that whole thing is going in. I just found out about this when I stepped off the plane. Here, I pulled you guys up and I heard them talking about it. And, I got on. But just in that short period of time, these are kind of things that is matriculating through my mind as far as what is the goal, what is the ultimate goal and the purpose of this whole thing. They're blowing it up in the media and whatnot. Then you find that he gets released and don't have a hearing date until almost 5-6 months later with an unregistered firearm. Come on.
Kind of like give it long enough and the people will forget about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Or let's give them this, and when this happens, they'll swallow it.
Yeah, it's the same, and I keep things in mind when issues like this occur, like the 12 people shooting down in Las Vegas with the gunman that was said to be connected to people who they had some kind of lucrative lifestyle or something, and he dyed his hair multiple colors and he was looking crazy during airing of the Batman movie. He shot up the theater, and then everything went away after he went to court. Nobody said anything else about sentencing or what his plight is. The man, the Eurogentile man in the UK or whatnot that shot up the mosque. Nobody's saying anything else about him.
Yeah.
These kinds of major issues occur, and we wonder, why it doesn't get the kind of publicity it should.
Exactly. Exactly. I find many times that they will portray and project certain scenarios in order to acclimate the minds to accepting certain other things.
There's background noise coming from someone. I hear some female
That,
talking.
yeah, that's me. I'm in the airport.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. This is a common practice. We're going to feed them toast so they will accept burnt bread. Do it all the time. And another thing, I want to say this, and then I'm going to have to run for a minute. There's certain things that I download. Like I said, they'll take certain videos and things off, and because they know that people is going to forget all about it. But I took a special interest in that Vegas shooting and downloaded many videos as to a lot of things that was occurring when all this stuff took place. And you would be amazed at some of this stuff. You would be amazed at some of the videos that I have.
You know, Elder Raymond, I want to before you run, I want to get this point out. Melvin Clark in the chat said, what if the NFAC leader, Grandmaster Jay, was actually arrested because they projected what might happen at the Capitol? So most black people, so-called black people, would not amass, and NFAC would not have a presence in what transpired on the 6th. I don't know if
Melvin Clark could come in and speak for himself, man.
He should, but I wanted to make
unless he's back in Ohio.
Maybe.
If you're not in Ohio, Melvin Clark, come in and speak for yourself.
Right.
Kahan, sometimes I think you may have missed your call.
Hey, man, I just got to keep it a buck, man. Keep it a buck, man. You never know, man. I'm usually pretty accurate, man. I'm telling you, man. You don't realize that, man.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, I wanted to catch your ear, Elder Raymond. That's all. That's the reason why I brought that up. Because I knew you were in a hurried mood and you're kind of doing things.
I'm hoping I can leave this video up, man. I'm hoping that I could leave it up. I don't think anything was said that was, besides Mr. Fry. He was saying, kind of incriminating himself with a few statements there. And I tried to give him a tip by giving a disclaimer, but he came back and repeated it again.
Yes. Well, if I can make it in time, a lot of the videos here lately that we feel is going to be pulled, I'm beginning to download and make copies of them and store them. So
I download those. Even when I pull them, I have a tendency to privatize those first long enough because they process, and I try and download it, and then I remove it.
Okay. Yeah.
I generally have a download of everything that I've actually ever done.
Very good.
I back up everything. I'm a networking guy, man.
That's right. You are. Yeah, but I might need to pull it up in an instant and might not be able to touch bases with you, and I could have it at my disposal as well. But it's good to know that you have it all, because some of the things that we discuss, I like to go back and review and look at it from the standpoint of what we discussed at that particular time and what transpired afterwards, to see how things line up as far as that is concerned.
Now, to folks that just don't get it, when I was talking about reverting back to Assembly Bill 416 that was passed, now I need to put this in the contextual content that is actually in, right? On January the 6th, you had what is known as Trump supporters and possibly some others place the Capitol under siege. Most of the national attention was diverted to the Capitol building, right? We're in agreement? On that same day, Assembly Bill, where people's all concentration was diverted to the U.S. Capitol, Assembly Bill 416 was being passed. in New York State, which gave Governor Cuomo the ability to place you in centers like this. If you have any communicable disease, if you have possibly been in contact with someone that has a communicable disease, or if you are a carrier, and for the documentation that I read, if you are suspected to have come in contact with someone that has a communicable disease. Now you say, tell the doc, what's a communicable disease? Well, COVID 19 is a communicable disease, which is what the current pandemic is all about. So I would say right now, New Yorkers are in dire strength and they're sleeping. They're sleeping. So to give you a clear depiction of what that bill, Assembly Bill 416, is saying, here is what it's really saying. This is what could happen to you, to those of you that just don't get it. To those of you that just don't get it, this is the reality of what you're living in right now. Now I ask, is this democracy? And if so, is that what you want? I yield. It's rhetorical. I don't require an answer, but you're gonna be compelled to answer that within. And if not, what will you do about it?
Yeah, I would like to add this too. We're talking about the COVID-19 as a communicable disease, but so is the common cold. So is the flu. These are all communicable diseases. So what he's basically saying then that we can grab up anybody, because everybody at one time or another has gotten a cold or the flu. So inch by inch, if you will, they are seriously attempting
Let me. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they're seriously attempting to take away all your rights.
Yeah. To those of you that don't get what's being stated here, Assembly Bill 416 for New Yorkers is essentially a path for COVID 19 concentration camps and total terrorism. To those of you that don't get that, see, 6 months ago, amid a panic, the panic and the height surrounding COVID 19, the outbreaks in places like New Zealand, the New Zealand government made an announcement that went mostly unnoticed by the mainstream media. And that announcement was a policy decision that the whole Western world should have been up in arms about the time the public was still processing the pandemic. This is what I didn't say this. This is what the New Zealand announcement was about. The New Zealand was literally instituting what amounted to COVID 19 prisons. If you go back and check 6 months ago, I'm not lying. New Zealand put this out. They was talking about a medical, and probably since I'm saying this, I probably can't leave the damn video up. They was talking about a medical quarantine facilities, and where any citizen suspect of being a COVID 19 carrier could be detained without due process of law. That is what just passed in the state of New York. Assembly Bill 416, to those of you that don't get it. But they said it would be as long as the government saw fit. The bill says 60 days. Not only that, But COVID 19er camps would fall under the jurisdiction of the military. So in other words, folks, the response that people gave was quietly being shifted to the media and to silence. This is hyper totalitarianism, man. And it's being implemented right in your face. And so I love our concentration is what's going on in the Capitol. I suggest that New York State is probably just the first that this bill is going to be passed in. See, the media has been applauding the New Zealand response in recent weeks because they see it came to pass. But arguing that heavily handed policies today will mean more freedom and better economy for tomorrow when infection numbers have reduced. This is what the media is saying. This is what the media is saying. But what's going on, man? Since the beginning of the pandemic, the lockdowns, these are designed to last forever, folks. I don't know if you get that. And we might be allowed partial reopenings. You see that? Brief moments of relief. You see that? Over where Dwayne at, they reopen it up again for a brief moment. But the 19 mandates have nothing to do with public health and everything to do with public submission, public subjection. You understand? This is nothing more than a useful crisis to be exploited as a rationale for tyranny. And those of you that can't figure that out, you're still asleep. You're still asleep, man. So people need to wake up. If you're in the state of New York and you're under the sounds of my voice and you're just going to sit around and see how this plays out, then you're literally committing cowardice, suicide on yourself. You're subjecting. Remember, I've always taught acquiescence is agreement. And that's exactly what it is. Acquiescence is agreement. Do you understand, man? And it would seem my predictions might come to pass sooner than I thought. Because now what's happened? New York State Assembly Bill 416 has been put intact. It's been put intact by the leftist lawmakers, and its contents are horrifying. If you listen to what I read earlier, those of you that wasn't able to listen earlier, I don't think I'll be able to leave this video up because when you start talking about the COVID 19er, they don't like that kind of talk, right? They want it's down. So, if you missed it, maybe you'll hear it somewhere else. This thing's serious, folks. And I'm hit you with something, man. This bill was originally, to those of you that don't know, I done some research on it. This Senate Bill 416 was originally introduced back in 2015 around the time the Ebola outbreak scare took place. But it was shelved when that particular crisis didn't pan out like they anticipated. But what happened? C-19 has actually given the bill a new life. And that's not surprising. So you can think it's a game all you want to, man. But you're going to utterly regret it. This is not a game, man. This is real life, and you're living it, whether you like it or not. Whether you're responsive or whether you cowardly remain silent You're gonna live this whether you realize it or not. And it may not play out well for you. It may not play out well for you if you show any form of resistance. If they come to snatch you out, put you in one of these detention centers, it may not play out well for you. Do you understand? Now, I'm gonna have to end this and go ahead and start the webinar very soon. But one of the other things I wanted to bring out, according to sources, a sniper threat is one of the concerns that they have with this inauguration. That's one of their primary concerns. They're concerned about snipers. So this thing is serious, folks. All around us, man. The world has changed right around you. And I have to ask you, what have you done? What have you done to make a difference? Have you been trying to educate yourself? Have you been attending our meetings and trying to educate yourself with right knowledge? Or have you just been sitting around in the background saying, okay, don't worry about it. The de facto would take care of us. The de facto wouldn't do that to us. Big brother would take care of us. What have you been doing, family? That's the question.
Yeah, Khan, you're absolutely right, because I have heard people personally say when certain things is presented to them that nah, the government wouldn't do that. They just wouldn't do that to people. They not as bad as you think they are. But one last thing that I want to mention is you talked about that bill and whatnot that was passed, or the law that was passed in New Zealand. Now, if anybody knows that New Zealand is one of the Five Eyes that they talk about, and these things was pretty prevalent in the news at one time, but you don't hear so much about the Five Eyes countries anymore. And these are the countries too, a lot of times, that they use to do dry runs of things that they're going to look to implement here later on. So I found it very interesting that you spoke about that, because New Zealand is one of the key Five Eyes countries that a lot of things is done there. And then you find that it trickles on down to here. They do the test in these other nations to find out how much resistance they'll get, because they know that when things like this is presented, as far as this country is concerned, that the resistance will be even greater than it will in those Five Eyes nations or countries. So they, a lot of times, they will do dry runs in these countries to see just what type of resistance that they're going to get, so they could make adjustments to the program that they're looking to implement, in this country. So I'm not at all surprised that they started this thing in terms of New Zealand with the COVID-19. So yeah, I can definitely identify with what you're saying. But anyway, guys, I will look forward to catching you out there for whatever's left when I touch down on the home front.
We might be on. What do you? How far is your flight? Like about 6 hours?
Yeah, it's about 6 hours.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to. They say I touch down in Vegas about 3 o'clock local time.
All right. So you already flew somewhere then?
Oh yeah. I'm in the middle of the boat.
Oh yeah, we probably still would be going on, Raymond. Sometimes I'm gonna tell you something, man. We was on last night until what, Mika, around 11? After 11 or something like that, I finally shut it down. Yeah. So I be going until, man.
Okay.
However the spirit moves, man. That's how I keep it going.
Amen. Amen. All right. So I look forward to catching you guys once I touch down.
Shout out Mentifus.
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shout out Mentifus. Zadok, them teethers. Ooh, them teethers. Hey, Zadok. Hey, Zadok, what did you say that? Oh, them teethers. What'd you say the other day, Zadok? Yeah, that guy was on here. Oh, look at them teethers. That had me dying.
Was that older gentleman?
Yeah.
That
was funny, man. I had to mute myself, Dwayne, man.
Con,
I had to mute myself behind that, man.
Perfect shot. I didn't even catch that until I watched it after. Oh man.
I had to take Zadok out of the room for a second, man, because that was killing me laughing, man. All right, man. Go ahead and shut this down, man. We'll see you guys on the webinar, man. Shalom.